Hello, I'm Alex Mansfield, the host of Manny Talks Shooting, and welcome to another episode. This is the shooting podcast where I talk to individuals all across the shooting industry. We'll talk competition, self-defense, concealed carry. If you like this content, check out our YouTube channel, Manny Talks Shooting. And without further ado, let's get to this episode. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Manny Talks Shooting, the shooting podcast where I talk to individuals all across the shooting industry, and I talk about whatever I want. But first, we got to plug today's sponsor. This show is brought to you by Go Fast Don't Suck. So go over to check out Bill and gofastdon'tsuck.net. Go get your dry fire targets, your match shirts, your t-shirts, your memes, whatever you may want, because he's got it. Gofastdon'tsuck.net and rock him out. If you notice behind our guest today, he's actually got some targets hanging on the wall from Go Fast Don't Suck. So today's guest is Mr. Travis Crain, or pewpew Crain on the power of the Instagrams. Travis, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good, man. And I got to say, I love how animated you are on your intro.
Well, I've got to be, because this is the best part of the day, right? Because I go through work all day and then I got to come home, do my crap, and then do this. So it's like, I got to get perked up. Yeah.
Do you have a little schedule? Do you have to do the, hey, listen, I need to be sitting in the studio getting ready at 7:55, 7:50, and then kind of backtrack them?
Sometimes it's just all right, I'm ready to go. Sometimes it's just I'll get there when I get there. Not a lot of people beat me. Usually most of my guests are not on time. No offense to all my guests, but it's all good. But anyway, so it's been a good day. If anyone cares, this is late April when we're recording this, so it'll come out whenever it comes out, people. But anyway. So anyways, y'all, why am I bringing Travis on? Anyway, you don't know about Travis. So Travis can tell us a little about him.
That's all right. Get there, man. Get there. You got it.
Yep, exactly. So anyway, Travis, who are you, and why do people not know about you?
Some people know about me. I think I'm probably more known about than I've ever been met. I just kind of bebopped around the shooting world there, kind of bouncing off people and trolling people and doing things like that. I guess for this show, and I'm stumbling over my words too. I researched all my stuff because I was like, Mandy's probably going to hit me with where did you start shooting? And I'm like, shit, I can't remember. So I had to. The great thing about the Practice Score app is going back and trying to search yourself, and then scrolling through all those matches, and I found a steel match that I shot. And it was like an outlaw steel match in 2015, and I think that's probably when competitive shooting started for me. All right, background though. I'm a retired Marine, medically retired. I did 10 and a half years. I was in from 95 to 2006, got out, was a mechanic, always shot quite a bit in the Marine Corps, a little bit more than normal Marines do. And kind of loved shooting. So kept up with it. Had a thing for XD pistols, put that where you want it. I like XD pistols, pre-grip zone, before they gave me instructions on the grip where to put my hands. Shit.
Yeah.
No,
that's fair enough.
Yes. Yeah. But so had an XD, went to a local range, shot there probably once or twice a week, maybe 100 rounds or so, just a stand and shoot indoor range. And I guess through there, and I can't remember, I would love to know where this all came from. I guess through there got hooked up with their outdoor range, which they have maybe 2 or 3 miles away. And this is sharpshooters. If you talk to Dave, you'll always hear about sharpshooters. Their big outdoor range. And at the time they were running outlaw matches, time plus. And like most outlaw matches, they don't understand hit factor scoring because it is what it is. It's math, right? Fuck math. Let's just do off the timer. 2 on the round, you're good. Or 1 in the A. So they did that and went out there and started shooting outlaw matches the beginning of 2016, and they did rifle and pistol. So I did both of those because I think 3-gun was getting hot right around then. It may have been hot because being near Atlanta, we have 3-gun nation. We had all that stuff going on in Atlanta. I think it was Rob and a couple other guys were big into the 3-gun nation stuff. So started on that. And I want to think 2 or 3 months into it, I had bought Stephanie a pistol and she was starting to get into it, which was the worst financial decision I ever made. I mean, there's some bad ones, but that's horrible.
Oh yeah, same here. Getting in the
yeah.
wife into shooting is
Oh my God, people have no idea. You know, it's yeah. We'll discuss all that with primers and powder, gun bullets,
God.
yeah, everything. So yeah, looking through practice score, it looks like I shot outlaw matches up until June. I shot my first USPSA match and shot it in limb minor because I'm a genius, you know, and you know, if anybody's gonna start, limb minor needs to be where you start at. Because hell, you don't know the rules. You might as well just put bullets in gun and shoot. Looks like I did okay though. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Did you finish last?
Nope.
There you go.
Middle of the pack, actually. Yeah,
there you go.
Pretty decent. I would love to pull that up, actually. It's where I was with limb minor. I haven't shot limited. I think that's the only match I ever shot limited in.
Yeah, because you notoriously hate high cap.
I do. Yeah, I don't hate it. I can see where I shot high cap. Obviously, I shot limited, and you know, at these outlaw matches, it was run what you brung. So, you know, if you had a Glock 19 with a 33 stick hanging out the bottom of it, perfectly legal, you know, type deal. Mm-hmm. You know, and it'd jam up about halfway through, so I never worried about those guys. But yeah, so somewhere in there, it looks like I started shooting single stack. So this is 2016. I started on single stack. And it looks like, looking through my history, I shot one USPSA match in single stack right around November or so, and then immediately shot a level 2 match in Florida at what was called the Swamp Challenge at the time. And wasn't last, but wasn't good. You know, I think, yeah, it took a pretty good whooping there. But I remember that match. I remember learning a lot. Max Michel was teaching there. He had some affiliation with the club. And this was, you knew of Max, but this wasn't, you know, this isn't where Max is now, where he's, you know, a monster. Because I think he was shooting open at the time, or something different. But yeah, so I shot that match and immediately stuck with single stack, and went through that. The next year was all single stack. Looks like I shot a couple state matches in single stack. Did okay. It wasn't horrible. Made B class in single stack pretty quickly. Kind of got bogged down in B like everybody does. And then somewhere around the end of that year, the next year or so, had to be 18, I picked up a revolver. My wife bought a revolver, and she bought a 929 Smith. I knew what it was. And it was a 8-shot 9mm, the one everybody runs in revolver division. And yeah, immediately started shooting that. And that's where I kind of got known for, was shooting revolver. It fits me. I think a lot of, I wouldn't say new shooters, because new shooters need to shoot everything. Shoot all the damn guns. Figure out what you like, but you need to find your niche. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you're 350 pounds, got bad knees and bad feet, probably the fast divisions aren't your best plan, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I'm saying that you need to start really blending some positions, bro, if you're going to be getting there, you know? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so revolver just kind of worked for me. I don't move real fast. I transitioned real quickly. I can blend real well. I'm pretty good at 8-round setups, and I can cut up a stage pretty well with, you know, skipping targets, or, you know, shooting 3 here, 1 there, 3 here, 1 here, you know, kind of cutting up, you know, cutting a reload out, things like that. And have been shooting revolver ever since, up until last year when I started breaking revolvers. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. My big accomplishment with revolver, I guess, was, and I didn't make GM. I never made it. I made a run at it, and I got up to 94.3, was as high as I got with revolver. And to my credit, I was trying to do something nuts. I was doing it with a stock gun. So the gun was perfectly out of the box. It had a grip, had a cylinder release, and had a fiber optic on it. And then that was all the modification I did. Actually, I cranked down the mainspring on it. So trigger pull was right around 12 pounds consistently. And yeah, no cut cylinders for reload, nothing, just straight cylinders. And yeah, just blew a chance at GM on a bad classifier, hung that up and said, I'm never making I don't see me making a run at that anytime soon.
You never know. You could win nationals, right?
Well, this Nats, I'm out for revolver. I've managed to break 2 of them in the last 2 months.
Because you broke your 929 and your Ruger.
Well,
right?
both 929s are broken. I have 2 929s, both broken. One frame damage that I'm still trying to figure out what to do with. I reached out to a company. They were like, yeah, here's how you fix it, but we're busy and we're not taking any new work. So it's like, Christ. And then my other one is, it's a simple break, but it keeps breaking in the same spot. This is the second time. It broke on me at South Carolina Sectional last year, and I barely finished the last two stages. I still won, but I barely finished. And yeah, it broke again maybe 3 weeks ago. Just froze up on a stage, and I was like, all right. So got the single stacks back out. I consider myself, if you ever got into horse racing, you have like a paddock horse that rides around with a racehorse, you know. I have a buddy of mine, Jason, who's going to win South Carolina State, or should. And I'm just here to push him along. And then I'm going to go down to nationals with him. This will be his first nationals. It'll be Nancy. Nancy shot in nationals before, but I think this one she's really putting in a lot of work for us. Nancy Grunnett, one of the girls I do my podcast with. She's really putting in a lot of work to shoot single stack. So she's going down, and then one of the revolver guys I normally compete against, Jeff Yang, he's going to be down there on my squad. So I thought about backing out, and then I was like, you know what, screw it. I'll throw a single stack in the bag and just go down and help my friends. I'll shoot a match, and you know, who knows? Maybe I'll win A class, you know, freaking nationals, you know, freaking something like that, or make a run. If I'd had a couple more months, I'd probably say I could probably put together a decent run at it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, you know.
Because you like to shoot those low caps, but it is nice. It is nice to see Nancy I like her transition from PCC to single stack. It's quite nice.
Oh yeah. Well, Stephanie tried, and then life caught up with Stephanie. Which, you know, Stephanie pistol's hard. According to them.
Someone needs to make her a effing t-shirt.
Yeah,
pistols are hard.
Yeah, they are. They are. But that is a big phrase around us. And Steph's an amazing PCC shooter, which I know. Listen, PCC is PCC. Let's talk about it. It's a rifle. But, you know, Steph has won, you know, she's won Florida. She's won, you know, she won Ladies Invasion for PCC division, which is our national. She won Fall Fest. Ladies Invasion last year, you know, War Match. She's won like a ton of matches shooting PCC. So she's no slouch with it. Yep. And, you know, when given the chance to go back and shoot her PCC, of course, I wasn't prepared because unfortunately Stephanie shoots an MPX, which so I wasn't prepared. The gun hadn't been rebuilt for the year like they have to be, so they'll run consistently. So it was a lot of chiseling carbon out of plugs and sanding the piston back down and new rings and all that stuff to get it back up and running. But I think it's ready to go.
There you go. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, pistols are hard, but PCC is fun as long as it runs.
Oh yeah. Now I will say this. Now you're a carry optic shooter, obviously. Yep. Okay. So I picked up a dot. This is a funny thing we talked about on my show is I picked up a dot the other day, and I'm going to give you an idea, and you can follow along because you've shot more dot than I have, at least on you know, RDS style. Like I worked with Stephanie. I have to learn things to help other people, so it's like, all right, I'll pick up a dot because that's obviously the new hotness for everybody. I picked it up, and it's a Canic. You know, it's got some work done to it. Dave played with the springs, David Law. But I couldn't. I had a hard time with how much focus I was giving the dot versus how much focus I was giving the target. So I picked this thing up really because I had some new shooters coming out, and I was like, hey, listen, they're going to want to shoot a dot gun. Let me at least make sure this damn thing will hit paper. So what I did was more just straight target focus and almost ignored the dot other than its appearance over where I wanted the bullet to go, and shot it, and was actually really, you know, I can kind of see where you guys are at with that. How much target focus do you have versus how much dot focus do you have?
I'm 100% target focused.
Are you really? Okay. All right. Okay. So is that a popular thing in the dot world? I guess I could ask Dave all this, but you know,
I mean, yeah, well, especially transitioning from like, I never had a long time on irons. Like I started pistol shooting, maybe had a year of pistols, and then went straight to dots. So I didn't have a lot of time on irons. So learning the dot was quite easy for me, but I have used like tape on the optic to help with the target focus kind of stuff, and different things to occlude the dot. Like, I don't know in your time in the Marines if they taught like occluded dot shooting with rifles?
God, no.
So anyway, I'm not a military expert, but from what I've heard is people will occlude their front, like just like you'll see people on the internet cover the red dot on their pistol.
Yeah.
They do that with the caps, the front cap on their like MRO, their aim
All
point.
right. Yeah.
So then the one eye is seeing past the muzzle towards the target. So then the other one's looking through the dot, so it sees the red dot, but counterimposing everything with your brain and your eyes are working together. So you're seeing the target. But if you only see the black and the dot, it means you're just staring straight at the dot. So
okay. All right.
it's an interesting concept. It's helped me extra refine that, but I'm always target focused. I don't ever find myself looking at the dot.
Okay. All right.
But like I said, I don't have years of iron sight shooting either.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, iron sight, like, my focus changes depending on what I need it to do. If I'm 30 yard, if one of my warm up drills is 25, 27, somewhere in there, and I'll just do a 4-shot run on it, and I'll have 2 targets out there, and I'll do a 4-shot and then back to holster out 4-shot again. And the reason I do the 4 shots because I want to see the target. I want to see the sight track, make sure my grip and everything's doing like it should. And out at that distance, you have to have everything set, pretty good. You got to have a decent grip, you got to have decent trigger, decent sight focus, stuff like that. And everything has to run the way it's supposed to. That's generally how I can tell how my practice session is going to go.
Oh yeah.
Am I going to get something out of it, or I'm just going to sit out here and burn primers for a bit?
Yeah, you don't want to burn primers.
Not
nowadays. I don't know about you, have you seen primers come back in lately? Because it felt like they came for a while, dried back up, and then I don't know where they're at right now.
I think they're right where I don't think there's been much change. I think people drop them every so often. Probably they're a little bit more available than they were. And that's funny, being that everybody got this, whether it was a real email from, was it Vista or somebody like that was like, hey, listen, we're totally killing primers and all this other stuff. But then, I was seeing drops in like Natchez or, Brownells or something like that. I was still seeing drops come out. So
yeah, Natchez, I've had the best luck with them because you can get, I think, 5,000 a type or 5,000 an order. So, I mean, at least it's.
And I think that's what a lot of people are going to is, listen, you're going to buy 5,000. You're going to drop a house payment on your primers, is what's going to happen. That's,
I don't know who was. Powder Valley. Was it Powder Valley? Someone was dropping 1,000 at a time. And I told people, I'm not doing it. It's not worth the hazmat.
No, the hazmat tax kill you. You're just done by the time that happens.
My minimum was always 2. Buying 2K it made it at least that one. It's enough ammo, but it's definitely worth paying them. Over $200.
And the unfortunate thing in the revolver world is federal is God.
Well, probably not for your 929 that was completely stock though.
You'd be amazed how sensitive that goddamn thing was.
Really?
That thing was. It was sensitive. That was. Federal is always going to run, you can get a CCI in the wrong spot and have problems. And then bullet weight, I've got a case of friggin' 160 grain 9mm sitting out there, so.
That'd be interesting if you had a 9mm, if you put a suppressor on the MPX and then put 160 grains through it.
The problem with a 160 grain bullet is that to get to 160 grains, you're almost dealing with something that's a third or 30% longer than 124 grain. I mean, you're dealing, your minimum load on that thing is like a 1165. I think is about as short as I could get them. That's about as short as that will run. So it's really built for a revolver chamber at that, that length. Yeah. But you mentioned my Ruger, which is still up and running, but has never been shot. Actually, I use it as a toilet paper roller, or if I need to hold the door open, it's a great door chuck. That was, I've heard they've quit on the GP 100s, but that thing has been a pain in the ass since I got it. I was so happy to see it because 929s are, they can be tricky. So here comes Ruger with this, hey, we're going to build a competition gun. Okay. All right, great. You made the barrel too damn light. It's all over the place, with this friggin' stupid like barrel cover that looks cool. But needless to say, you did crown the front of it. I do appreciate that. You made it where the release is completely ridiculous. Like, people are welding things on the side so you can have some kind of cylinder release versus having to almost flip the gun complete in your hand and pop cylinder. And then when I got it brand new in the box, and I had an early serial number, so it could be one of the problem childs. But it wouldn't take certain factory loads. They cut the chambers so short that it wouldn't take. I mean, you basically had to run, I want to think, Winchester white box ran in it. And there was a couple Federals that wouldn't go. I don't think the Syntex went. But there was, you had to be very specific about what ammo would go in that gun. I was like, that is ridiculous. So I reached out. Yeah. I reached out to their Ruger team shooter, Dave Alhasso, told him about it. He's like, hey, take the cylinder off, send it up to me. I'm coming up with a new device to cut the cylinders. So sent it to him, cut the cylinders, got it back in, and the gun still had issues. And it's a funky gun, and I don't know if something's tweaked in it, like from the factory. And I've heard that, their expected accuracy is like 3 inches at 20 yards, which is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with them. It's about right there. It's to the point where it shoots good. The trigger's good. It's got a little stack on the back end, but in the way of like calling a shot, no. Like I would call some decent shots and be like, 6-inch group on this thing. And I'm like, dude, listen, I know some people send guns back, and I know I've heard of people getting quality control because their gun shoots low left. It's like, no, the gun doesn't shoot low left. But I've shot a few revolvers in my time, and I know what I can do, and I know what this gun can't do, type deal. But every time, like, we're having this conversation here, and I knew the Ruger was going to come up because of that picture you put out, and I know I'm going to go out there with some ammo and try to run that goddamn thing again and get mad at it, and then it's going to be back in the box or back holding my garage door open, or doing something, used as a hammer or something other tool that I can make it out to.
Well, the only reason I posted that picture is there's no pictures of you on like your Instagram, so I'm like, well,
no.
at least there's like some form of his body on this thing.
There is enough chunky shooters out there freaking running around that putting my marshmallow ass out there didn't need to be active.
I mean, yeah. Or you could just post more dog pictures. I mean, everyone.
That's it. I will post Grizz. I'll just start putting I have Grizz, my golden retriever. I'll just start putting belts on Grizz and making him walk around like he's a shooter.
Well, or you just get him to pull your cart around,
Oh, yeah. Well, right now I have a problem. He'll jump on the bed when I'm dry firing, and the minute the timer goes off, because I have my part-time set, the minute the timer goes off, he just goes ape shit and starts running in circles, which is a great distraction when you're trying to dry fire. You're like, all right, well, I guess, there was a tornado happening, I'd be great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everyone likes Grizz, even though when he pees on things or is being a pain in the ass.
Grizz, yeah, he's a bad dog. He's a cute dog that does bad dog shit. That's what we say all the time.
Yeah.
But no, he does well. So now let's talk about you. Any nationals this year for you?
No, nationals is out of the cards for me this year. I ran out of vacation time, sir.
Oh, that's rough.
Well, especially, and it's really hard to convince your wife to say, can I go shoot Carry Optics Nationals on my birthday?
Yeah, why not?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the worst part. It's because I'd shoot staff. That'd be my problem. So I'd go shoot staff.
Yeah.
And then have to be there for 3 more days. And then by the time I think I looked at it, it's like an 8 to 9 day vacation. When you only get 15 days of paid time off at work, it doesn't quite work.
My God, man. As a person who just recently changed jobs, maybe, just say there are jobs out there, bro.
Yeah. Well, and I've been there 5 years and I only got 3 weeks.
God, man. No, I did the auto mechanic world for a while. That's me and Tim Aaron used to joke about quite a bit. He was a Honda tech, I was a Nissan tech. And then I left there to go work for the government at the Savannah River site, remediation stuff, cleaning up. So I'm on government money now. So
well, you're always on government money because you're medically retired from the military.
That's true. Yeah. And trust me, that check ain't worth anything. But you know what the medical care is. So
do they send you a green Crain every month?
Of course.
Oh, there you
go. Yeah, and that's the suck of it. They know the red ones taste good. I know they're keeping the red ones from themselves, and they send me the damn green ones. I mean, come on, man.
Well, yeah, everybody knows that.
But thinking about Marine Corps and everything. So we're finishing up. We have South Carolina State coming up in 2 weeks, end of April, beginning of May. That'll be our sectional match I'm shooting. And then locap Nats coming up 3 weeks after that, 2 weeks after that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, 3, I think. After that, and then I've got to decide what I'm going to do for the rest of the year. The revolvers definitely need to get repaired, so that's going to be something. One, financially, because it's going to be expensive. Because I'm probably just going to send them out to get built. But it may be a good time for me to get into some kind of shape other than pair. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe time to meet a guy named Jim. Maybe spell the word Jim.
Just call Rob Teague.
Oh God.
He'll make you feel extra fluffy.
No, he's not as bad as Jason, the gentleman I shoot single stack with.
Mm-hmm.
Sexiest legs in USPSA. I shit you not.
Is it because he has super short shorts though?
No. Well, he's got the legs to go for the shorts. He knows he has the legs, so he just wears the shorts to go with it.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you what, I'm gonna be down there with him with nationals. And if he puts on shorts, he's getting a sponsorship.
Oh, there you go.
Somebody's coming. I mean, they're you can put a bumper sticker on them things. You could shave it into his hair. You can put all kind of signage right down on his legs. You're gonna look at him.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'll send you a picture. We'll put a picture up next time I see him. Because I think it's gonna be hot this Saturday. We're reshooting. We were rain out last week at the Kentucky match, which is a great match, and we're shooting this weekend, so it's gonna be warm. So I'm expecting to see the legs out.
Oh, there you go. That'll be good.
Yeah. What about you? Are you shooting locals yet? You're up north, aren't you?
Yep, in Michigan. We've shot this will be shooting a local this weekend. So this will be my 3rd local of the season. We were supposed to have a major next weekend. It got canceled due to low turnout.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, in Michigan, we've lost most of our shooters.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then if you see people at matches, it's because they're shooting other matches.
Oh, okay.
So it's a circuit. Depending on how far of the drive it is, they'll be like, I'll go shoot another local.
So, all right. So during a month, how many matches do you have that are available to you? Let's say within a 2-hour drive.
There's 8 to 9.
No kidding. Okay. So you do have it. Okay.
Yeah. The problem is you're just pulling from the same group of shooters, which is the shitty part when some people only shoot their home club, which is fine. But
yes, I agree with that.
Which you need that staple. But when you're pulling my home club, BSC is where we're having Area 5 this year.
Okay.
And we're most of our local matches, we're getting shooters from Ohio.
Okay.
So, and then the guys who are from Michigan, they're from the Detroit area or whatnot. So, I mean,
yeah. Okay. Are you helping out with that section match or with that area match? I'm sorry.
Yep, I'm actually working Area 5. So
okay, all right. How the stages look? Have you looked at them?
They look good. We've got 2 RMs and the match director, so it's going pretty good. I got suckered into it. I got asked nicely by the RMs, you should really work my match. I'm like,
oh yeah.
Well, let me talk to the wife, and then we did. So then we're working the match, but looks good. We're gonna have 15 stages for the area match plus chrono.
Nice.
So it'll be
1 day shoot or 2 day?
Day and a half.
Day and a half. Okay.
10 stages 1 day, 5 another. But how it works is main flight will be all day Friday, Saturday AM. Second flight is Saturday afternoon, all day Sunday.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
It just saves time. Well, the cool thing is staff gets the same amount of time too. So we get a day and a half to shoot the match as well.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got, South Carolina section match. The book came out a couple days ago. It appears we like unloaded starts a lot.
At least you're not shooting a revolver for the match.
At least with a revolver, what are you talking about? I get 1 extra bullet in a single stack,
Well, I guess the nice thing is you don't have to worry about racking a slide or anything. You just got to make sure the cylinder shuts.
Yeah, well, that actually, ends up, depending on how you're moving, you can actually close it back up, which becomes a real pain in the butt when you're trying to move a fast manipulation like that. Single stack though, we got that. We've got a lot of, we got 1 stage that's all magazines from barrel, which is just a low cap killer.
From a barrel or barrels?
Yeah. No, 1 barrel. 1 barrel, all your magazines.
Do you have a magnet?
I do have a magnet, but I don't plan on humping a barrel. I don't plan on,
Yeah.
doing the dive over and see how many I get, like I'm a, arcade freaking cabinet or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. So, I joke that, great. You get to see me do my Batman impersonation, see how much crap I can put on my utility belt real fast, but yeah, I'm anti-gimmick. I'm big time anti-gimmick to the point where Stephanie slaps me around a lot because the minute there's a gimmick stage, I start doing clown music and freaking honking my nose like I'm a clown and all this stuff. And, she gets embarrassed and wants to slap me around a little bit.
Well, then she says, "Can we go home yet?"
No. Oh yeah. Well, sometimes it depends on how well she's shooting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just anti-gimmick. I'm there to shoot, trying to see how quickly I can, balance a beach ball on my nose and grab my gun at the same time. I'm just not into that, I don't mind reversing stages or, backing up stages. I can take one of those. We got a couple of those. We got one stage that has a drop turner that they're requiring 4 shots on. I'm like, I don't know how that's going to work out, but okay. Type stuff. How are you guys for gimmicks up there? You guys do a lot of that stuff, or is it more straightforward, or
depends who the match director is or who's designing
I agree
the
with
stage. We're very lucky at my local club at BSC. We have a range master, Walt Pagel, who designed stages for back-to-back nationals last year.
Okay.
So if you saw any videos from like the Zone A, those were all like those first couple stages were all his, except the classifier. He didn't design the run around in a circle, the 8-8-8-8.
Oh, okay. Or if you shoot it at Pineland Club, I think it's 16 and then 16 and 4 or something.
16 and 4, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have a nice setup on it.
Just touch your muzzle to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, they got caught for that one a couple weeks ago, I think.
Oh yeah.
They set up another one wrong. Yeah. Nice.
The rule is at Pineland, you're not allowed to bring cameras anymore, I guess, right? So,
I guess, but some people sneak it out, and good on USPSA Insights and all they do.
Yeah. And it's it's usually the guys posting the videos are the guys who don't know any better, thinking it's legit, and they shoot it, and then it's like, the fuck.
Yeah, but you're giving someone false hope. Not really. You know what? Shooters in general are cocky anyway. So if they're man, Jesus, I'm making M runs and I've only been doing this for like 3 months. And yeah, I get I go to my first level 2 and just get, all right, pup, watch out now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I go to my first level 2 and get drugged by the B class. It's like, well, I'll just work harder next time, but I'm a good shooter. It's like, no, you're just good at classifiers.
Yeah. Well, and it all depends on the classifier. Some guys are really good at those stand and shoot old ones because that's all they practiced or know from the internet is stand there and shoot a target.
Right in my heart with that, by the way. I'm just going to say, Manny, that one hurt. I'm really good at those stand and shoots. Thanks.
Well, like locally around here, we've got guys who can just rip on the trigger, right?
Yeah.
So they go fast as they can. Their hit factor is good. Their points are okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, so then they make these classes, and then you watch them perform at a match, and you're like,
yeah,
what the fuck are you doing? You're like got Asperger's or something on the stage.
The Roomba stage plan where you kind of bounce around and friggin', every which way. Yep. That works. I miss big barricades. I love the barricade ones. I was really good at those.
Like a Rhodesian wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could. I saw Steger put one in his match last year.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's nice.
We could put Rhodesian walls back in things.
Yeah. Oh, that and low ports with poppers are always fun. I love those too.
We like 25-yard mini poppers at my club.
Nice.
We have this bay that's got to be, I want to think, from corner to corner. It's really wide. So I think corner to corner, we might have like 35 to 40 yards if you start them all the way at the back of the berm and have to shoot a target all the way in the corner.
Yeah.
But we put minis out there without the heads. So it's like a Colt speed steel.
Okay.
So it's just the calibration zone and then the bottom. Oh, those are fun to shoot.
I think my first nationals, I just remember this stage, and I remember the start position was like hands on a wall, and this is at Frostproof, and you as a revolver shooter, because I think this was when they first started the combined nationals, so I had to shoot. They shot revolver and limited together, if I'm remembering all this stuff together. So it was us and limited, And yeah, I know, right?
Like-
Thanks. Yeah, so whatever. But my first, I think it was it had to be, yeah, it was a popper it was a regular activating popper at 20, probably right at 2025. There was a mini popper behind it out there, and then a mini popper at 18 and 2 targets. And I had so that left me one bullet that I had to, constantly do that. And I think I whizzed the first bullet right over the popper or over the activator. I was like, oh, this is just going to go to hell. It's like, yeah, standing reload time. But yeah, put that in your stage plan sometimes.
Yep, we got it. That is always, and it's interesting because people will come up with these stage plans, right? Where they're like, they got 22, 23 in the gun. Well, I'm going to go to 22 here, and there's a bunch of steel. And it's like,
yeah.
So you're going to play a risky stage plan and go for it. And then they get burned. And then I'm like, well, if I get burned by taking extra shots, at least I'm good at slide lock reloads.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you should always work, I always work on the idea that I'm going to do great, but in the back of my mind, I always have okay, if this goes bad, which it can, what am I going to do? And so it's almost like you got to walk the stage twice. You walk it once with hey, this is how I want to do it, and this is, if things go bad, this is where I'm moving or changing a little bit of it, and you just got to be able to do that on the fly. I think it just comes with experience, because watching somebody go to war with steel is a hoot and a half. I love it. Stephanie, on the other hand, has no problem with steel. So
well, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I will say I do like shooting steel. If I know, it's usually, if I miss steel, it's because I didn't call it good. It's usually because it's usually my trigger. Usually is the trigger for me, not sights necessarily. It's usually trigger.
Yeah, mine's a quick transition. I'll throw one over on a I'll even though I yell at people about this all the time, I'll start picking up my pace.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I'll get 3. And then it's like, oh yeah, I got this. And then I know what's happening. I know my sight, everything's starting to blend out, because I'm like, I'm just going to roll through it now and just back out of this position. And next thing I know, I'm whiffing 2 on a 1, the single steel sitting there staring at me. I'm like, Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rookie mistakes. They happen.
Oh yeah. Now you mentioned Tim earlier, because we all love Tim. I've got a Tim hat on. If anyone's watching the video version, you see Tim's hat. Did you take formal training from Tim?
Twice I've taken Tim. And I was going to host him, and then COVID happened. So it was actually going to be a third for me with Tim. I think I hosted him one time and then was going to host him again, and COVID happened and kind of blew everything up. But no, that kind of came from, I watched when I came in and was single stack, it was hard to find single stack information.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Actually, quite honestly, the only people, and I don't know if I didn't know where to look and stuff like that. I would say right now people can get information from everywhere with shooting or competitive shooting. Back then, I just remember the Ben Stoker podcast, the original, and Tim was
the Practical Pistol Show.
Yeah, with Tim on it. And I was always happy when Tim was on there, because they'd always give him short jokes, the friggin', single stack jokes, but he always had some decent info. And I was like, Jesus, this is great. And then he used to do these videos in a basement. I don't know if you've ever seen those. Those are great, where he talks about his gear, and he was shooting an old Max M or something like that. Or
and I think he was still in Kansas City at the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is well before the move. So I started seeing that stuff, and then just kind of followed him. And then the minute he kicked off and started training, someone hosted him in Macon, Georgia, and I knew it was coming. And I think Steph and I went there. Steph may have been shooting limited at the time. Both went there, and it was so eye opening. And and then hosted him again, and then wanted to do a third. And quite honestly, this is no joke. I got asked this weekend, what are we going to do about getting Tim back out? So it's getting mentioned again that we need to get him out. It probably wouldn't be this year, it'd be next year.
We got to start talking to him now. It seems like he's already going to fill up 2023.
Yeah, and that's great. Good for him, man. He deserves that shit.
I was supposed to be in my 3rd Tim class this year, but I backed out just due to how cost of time off, vacations, and all that. So it was just like, I can't spend 5 days on the range at a class if I want to shoot any majors either. So
yeah. So what are you going to do about this time off problem? Because obviously you've got a podcast that's getting rather successful. So people are gonna have to start seeing you at matches, bro. You're gonna have to travel, man.
I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 3.5 majors on the books. The fourth,
3.5. What's the half?
the half one is still in the air right now, depending on if it happens or not. Because it's one of those that depending on attendance, it's kind of early still. It's like a mid-September match, so we've got time for it to fill. So 3 in Michigan.
So you guys have 3 majors in Michigan itself.
We were gonna have 4.
Yep. No shit.
We were gonna have. You would have loved this. We had the mitten match that was supposed to happen next weekend. It was a low cap match originally, so limited 10 Revo single stack production. Then they're like, we couldn't get enough attendance, so they made it a low cap day and a high cap day, so people could. It was 2 different matches. Then.
Okay.
So you'd have people shooting production and then like carry optics the next day.
Yeah.
But due to no one really wanted to sign up or shoot, we didn't meet our goal. So we lost a couple $100 in transaction fees instead of losing thousands of dollars to host a match. Right. So then we have Michigan sectional, and that was that was supposed to be at BSC. We have Michigan sectional at BSC, and then we have Area 5 at BSC. If anyone's interested, there is Ryan Rocks at Livingston Gun Club. That's kind of cool. It's a charity match raising.
I've heard of that match. Have you shot it before?
Yep, I shot it last year. I staffed it last year. It was a good match. Definitely, they're supposed to be improving it. That one's also struggling for attendance. So you guys, if you're on the fence by Ryan Rocks, go sign up if you got time. It's second weekend of July now. So go check it out because they had to move the date, which, I hate. It's not a very good idea that we moved the date, but we were in conflict with another section match, close-ish by. Now we're competing directly with Area 3, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Win some, you lose some.
That is good. I mean, I've heard of people struggling in areas. We have a friend of ours, Eli, who's stationed out in Texas, I think, right now.
We love Eli, though.
We do love Eli. He's hilarious.
Except that he had how many going away matches?
Oh, Jesus Christ, 6 or 7. I think we may have. I can't remember if Nancy made it. Nancy was going to make like a tour shirt with all of his goodbye matches that he shot written on the back of it. And I want to think that happened. I'm not real sure. I think I wasn't there for his last match. Christ, I was there for the other 3 last matches. So yeah, that just kept going on forever. It was hilarious. But he's out in like Texas somewhere, I want to think. And he's like driving 2 hours to shoot. And he showed me some videos of those matches. I'm like, oh, brother. He's like, you're going to get smoked when you get back here, man. Those, little, 4, 4, and 4 stages are rough. They don't prepare you. Because around here, we shoot year round. So it's always matches going on. And there's pretty much 4 hardcore, 5 to 6 stage matches, with swingers, drop turners, and all basically set USPSA legal. Every weekend you can go shoot. And then
because when I think I had David on, we talked about there's Mid Carolina, there's Low Country, there's Pine Tucky.
Yep. There's Atlanta 3-gun. If you want to drive 2 hours, you can go shoot in Atlanta. There's Spartanburg, which Spartanburg is the warm-up match if you want to get ready for sectional matches. And it's hilarious because it's a what they call a natural range, which means you're in the freaking woods. There is a wood stage that's just on a hill, and I blow it every damn time. I don't know what it is about that Blair Witch shit, but I go back there and just blow that stage every time. But the rest of them are just, and they use solid walls, which is kind of odd nowadays. Most people are, transparent. It's just weird that you have no vision of the target. You can't cheat that look, where you're watching it come through the snow fence and then, get on it. You gotta wait till you're there.
They're definitely interesting. I like snow fences because they're purely easier and lighter to move.
Building
a stage. But then the cool thing is you have to know that target's there. You can't see it through the snow fence as you're coming across. You're just like, oh, there it is. Pop, pop, take them.
And if you want to hide a target, friggin' do solid walls. Because you've got to go looking for all. I mean, it's the old school where you had to, you basically did your first. You looked at the written stage brief. You'd walk the stage, and then almost, your count's always wrong. It's like, all right, said 26, I'm on 24, so there's a target missing somewhere. And you kind of look at the stage brief again, and then you do the walk around the outside of the bay, kind of finding where all the targets are. And then you're like, oh, there's the one I'm missing. All right, so now, go back in and figure it out. So
Yeah. That or then you find out that you're counting a target twice, and then you're still missing a target or two targets.
Yeah. I'm not a big double, I guess on 8-rounders, I'm not a big double shooter. I'm trying to think of no, Stephanie either. I know some people that are though. I know some people that are definitely about putting extra holes in targets.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just fun. We live in a great area, but I do say that I want to start traveling more for sectionals. Once, maybe I'll get in shape. Maybe I'll fix my guns and go travel around. Virginia has that damn wrestling belt that they hand out.
Oh yeah, the Immortal Arms match. Yeah.
Yes, holy Jesus, God, I was ready for that this year. I was going to go down, win M class at freaking nationals, and go get me a wrestling belt. That was my plan for the year.
Mhm.
And now it's like, crap. All right,
Now you can win A-class single stack.
Yeah. I'll probably get smoked. I don't know. A class is one of those weird classes.
Mhm.
Like anyone who legit works their way up, and gets out of B and into A, and they need to fix this. But if you can get out of B and get into A, you're immediately going to M. Because if you've got the skills to get out of B, your A is nothing. So all A class shooters are M class shooters that are shooting a different division. You know what I mean? Yep.
Mhm.
That's who we are. It's not, we didn't work to get here. They gave us that for classification, type deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. The only A that I've earned is in PCC, which is odd enough, but it was a joke.
Mhm.
I went to a classifier match. I put together a PSA rifle like over the weekend, like bought it, put it together, figured out it would run some ammo. It was a little sticky, chamber was a little tight, whatever, ran a ream in there a couple times, kind of figured out I could shorten around, it'd be okay. And went there with, I think, myself, Stephanie, and a friend of ours, Scott, and we all shot that rifle, and I legit walked out of a classifier match with like a 77 or something like that. And I was like, PCC is just, and this is the height of PCC, so I was like, this is just cheating, whatever.
I did want to build a PCC till I decided to get an open gun built.
Go open, man.
Yeah.
9 minor?
No,
Or 9 major? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
9 major?
9 major. Yeah.
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 Well, Dave can help you with that because
Yeah.
he's the master of the 9 major.
He is the mad scientist. He tinkers with everything, and
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him working at Masterpiece Arms. That's got to be a cool thing for him, getting out of whatever he was a machinist by trade though before that.
Yes.
So
Yeah. What was funny is that Dave and Dave literally lives like we could shoot at each other. I mean, we'd have to arc the rounds, but probably as the crow flies, maybe 500-700 yards. He lives in a neighborhood right across the street from us. And yeah, it was me and him always talking to each other, and we were both kind of at the point where we needed to make a decision if this was going to be the profession we stayed in for the rest of our lives. And I'm 45, so I have one career left, until I'm on worm food. So it's like, I needed to decide, hey, am I going to turn wrenches for the rest of my life, or am I going to try to do something else? And we both looked at the same thing. We were both going to end up out at Savannah River site. And then the Masterpiece Arms opened up, and Dave took that, which is awesome. And I was like, that's perfect. That's where you need to go.
Well, he loves tinkering with the guns, so that's all. It makes it even better.
Oh God, yeah. So good for him. Dave, man, I'm telling you what. I don't know if you have a friend. Do you have any GMs that like you hang out with like locally or anything like that?
I mean, I used to shoot with them. Nothing against them personally, but when that GM and his buddies get together, they bring this negative funk together.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like, I like you guys. Talk after the match. I'm not shooting with you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if it's just the funk they bring or the pressure that you kind of get for having them shoot next to you or whatnot. It's just like,
yeah. Okay.
I'm just like, I like you guys, but I'm not going to shoot with you anymore.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I could say that. Actually, I'll go 2 ways with this. One, at nationals, I didn't want a squad with basically the master. I wasn't going to be on the super squad. I didn't qualify for that, but I could have asked to be on, but basically the B squad, and I've shot on that before, which is like a couple GMs, and then the masters that I was going to shoot against, Mike Shaw, a couple other ones, and I just didn't want to do that. I was like, that's, and you're right. I don't know if it's just the funk is a good way to say it, because I don't think it's just outright negativity, but it just turns the match into a grind for me. Whereas, what, I wanted to shoot with my friends. That's why we set up the squad the way we did. And I was like, I'm going to shoot with my friends. And if I'm good enough, then I'm good enough. If I'm not, I shot a national with my friends, and it's going to be what it's going to be, but I'm going out to kill it. And that was the way I was going to work it in my head. David's kind of the opposite of that. He's very focused, like, as much BSing as I do with Dave. He doesn't BS at the matches. Mm-hmm. But I watched Dave come up. He started shooting after me. And I think actually he and Stephanie attended a introduction to USPSA class. Like, Stephanie was shooting limited and was going to go do some work with a local shooter by the name of Mark Sullivan, who's a great revolver shooter too. And she was just going to go shoot some stages and have Mark work with her a little bit. And Dave was in that class. And actually, I think Steph's claim to fame is she beat Dave in a stage or beat him on a drill that day. And then from then on, you never heard of Dave not practicing. Mm-hmm. And that's, everybody dry fire. Anybody who's decent at this dry fire, you dry fire all the time. I dry fire every night. But to watch Dave run in his backyard, or to do ladder drills, or to, hey, yeah, you know what? I just started getting up at 4 a.m. so I could dry fire and then go to work and then get off work so I could go to the range type mentality. And it's like, okay, all right, dude. You've obviously got more drive than me in this. And he's killing it.
Mm-hmm. So. He made GM, which was awesome.
He made GM the legit way too. He wasn't shooting. When I made a run at GM, I was very focused on the classifiers. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to. There's a couple different ways to make GM. There is I'm going to focus on the classifiers. It's a zero or hero mentality. I'm going to shoot them, and that's going to be it. And then there is I'm just going to shoot them. I'm going to shoot them well, but I'm not pushing. I'm not above. I'm not looking for a hookup shot. Where I blaze in there and, hey, look, I got Alpha Charlie. But I couldn't have called that second shot if I had tried. Type deal. It's I shot it. I saw all the shots. And the score is what score is. And that grind of getting up to that level when you're making GM, you're shooting like a GM. And anybody who has to shoot against Dave at their local knows what's going to happen. He's going to hang 20% on the guys behind him, second place quickly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now it's interesting enough. We haven't talked about your podcast yet, but we need to, because that's
okay.
We do.
It happens. It exists.
It does exist. The interesting part is I didn't find it out through Dave. I found out about it via Jay Beal, because I got bored one day. I ran out of podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got bored. So he sent me he screenshotted like his whole phone of podcasts that he was listening to. So I'm like, okay. So I added a bunch, and your guys' podcast has still remained because it's quite entertaining. It's
so the podcast came around. I don't know where that drunken idea came from. And I know it was a drunken idea.
Probably Johnny.
No, Johnny probably wouldn't have been the call on the podcast. It was probably me and Nancy. The dynamic is me and Nancy are both animated, to say the least. Whereas Stephanie and Johnny are both the grounding rods that keep me and Nancy from, doing crazy shit. So it's very much it's an opposite work there. And it was probably me and Nancy who got it going, but I couldn't tell you the story. And it was why can't we do a podcast? And then the minute Stephanie's behind anything, I'm in. The minute I can get Stephanie turned on something, all right, I'm in. So so we got that set up, and we tried to be real serious with it. And there are times when we try to really be a shooting podcast, and it gets it's dull sometimes. I gotta admit, sometimes we text each other, we're like, well, I was blah as hell, or something like that. But what we found with our podcast is it is for people who shoot pretty much every weekend, whether it be IDPA, Johnny, which I am so sorry, everybody. Johnny did not shoot an IDPA match, and he didn't have the stage briefs to read to us, because now that has become my favorite section. When Johnny reads me friggin' IDPA stage brief, those little stories they have to tell.
Oh, about leprechauns?
Holy shit, that had me in tears.
Oh, so
And I was like, oh my God, who is coming up with that shit? Oh, the bikers, attacking him. It was the gang members and then the bikers in Miami. And I was like, oh my God, this is just wonderful. So, yeah. But what ended up happening with the podcast is it just becomes the four of us basically debriefing shooting. It's just us talking about, us at the matches, stuff like that. We are decent for training, and that's why it's called Sunday Morning Training Group, is that our range that we have that I practice at every Sunday morning, that's where I am. You can always find me there. And I usually open the gate at 7:45, and I'm the first one there, and we have big bay. Get out there and drag some barrels and walls out there, and that's where I do my work. And that became, we couldn't come up with a title, and it was, we were getting just lame. So I was just like, screw it, I'll throw this out there. Someone made a picture, and and we record on a whatever schedule we want to record on. Maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every week. You know what? You may get a drunken one from nationals this year, which would be awesome.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, because we're staying for, the deal is that we're going to stay if one of us wins something. So we're hoping that one of us wins something so we can just be in the back of the when everybody's trying to be serious at USPSA, and, we're back there with buzz balls, like a bag full of wine buzz balls, just freaking chugging them and, laughing. Yeah. So it's not that we want to be irreverent to everybody. It's just that, man, listen, we know this is a hobby. It's a sport. It's a hobby. We enjoy it. We love it. And, but, sometimes people do take it a little too damn serious. Like, you know what? Put people in check,
Yeah, you got to have fun. If you're not having fun, what's the point, right?
Exactly. My God, you're not going to make money doing this. There's a handful, literally, of people who make money doing this. The shooting part, not the, there are people involved in the side of it, obviously, like Dave or something like that. Or you had John Vlieger on, talking about that. Yep. So those guys are there, but listen, 80% of it is people who just like to shoot and like shoot.
Well, and then even like people like John, like he doesn't get paid to shoot. He has his job. Yeah. And like Dave, they work for manufacturers, industry. Yeah. But there's like maybe one or two people, like Max Michelle probably gets paid to shoot.
Yeah. The great one, he's out there shooting,
Robbie.
Yeah. Tim Herron is sponsored, but he pays for himself. I mean, I'm sure Federal gets him a spot, but he's not paid to shoot. He makes his money as a trainer, stuff like that.
God, I think he's got 52 classes this year. I want to think
he's a hard worker, man. He'll do them.
Oh yeah,
you've been in a Tim class, man. He crushes it.
Well, especially when you spend 12 hours on the range and then you're going to go back to the hotel or wherever we're staying and then stay up and chit chat and drink beers for 2 hours.
Yeah, he does, and he will too. Jesus, he will.
Little bastard can drink you under the table.
I don't know. We never put that to a test. Tim, if you're out there, next time.
Buzz
balls. Yeah, buzz balls and hunch punch, which is a moonshine shot that we do.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I've got a little bit more mass over Tim, so I'm gonna use that to my advantage. So
yeah.
But no, so yeah, if you guys want to listen to a bunch of guys a bunch of people get drunk and make fun of IDPA or make fun of everything, Christ, that's what my show's for. So enjoy.
Well, it's good. It's entertaining. It breaks up the monotony of talking about shooting in.
Oh my God, you can only say grip so many times in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really nice because Nancy breaks down what she's going through, her struggles, which is kind of cool because then you can think about your times that you'd struggled and have like, well, maybe that's my problem too, and but she's not no fancy. She's not like a Hwansik Kim who I get lost when he starts talking. I don't know if it's his audible level, like his decibel level of how he talks.
Yes, yeah.
And it's just like, what did he say? Because I lost him, and I don't know where we're at.
Yeah, is that Stephanie is definitely the quiet one of the group, and but we do all silence when Stephanie talks because Stephanie has her stuff too, and she'll go into it, and especially the mental game. Like Stephanie talks a lot about the mental game. And for everybody to know, I have an 18-year-old that's about to graduate high school, and that whole story about kids getting better as they get older is so full of shit. Kids get worse as they get older. It's just a nightmare, and I'm just like, get your diploma, kid. Let's just get you there. You know?
It's entertaining when he shows up halfway through the podcast. Hey, I have a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he'll always like fly in or fly out. Like we'll always record in our living room, and he'll come flying by, and or he'll come in and give us the head nod, like, hey, there's the people who gave me life,
Right.
And then back to his room, play video games, or he's going out with his friends or something like that. So
that's always good, though.
Yeah. So it's it's one of those things, and it'll be interesting. I mean, life happens. I always joke about junior shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's junior shooters, one, because, I think because of their, the way they can move, they take in information, they don't have bad habits, they can be taught real quickly, and they become amazing real fast, especially in like steel or something like that. It's just, very focused game. I always joke when somebody's like, man, look at that kid. Like, there was a revolver kid that came up, and everybody's like, oh, look at him, he's going to be amazing. I'm like, you know what? I think he was 12. I was like, I give him 2 years. He's going to find girls. This shit's over with.
Oh, yeah.
Sure enough,
absolutely.
Yeah, sure enough, they're gone. There's something hanging around like the Williams sisters and stuff like that, where, they just live.
Well, and they have all day to go shooting, which is like, that's the cool. They have no response. Not saying these girls don't have responsibilities, but most junior shooters they don't got to pay the bills. They ain't got to go drive a car. Mommy and daddy pick them up and drop them off.
Yeah. Yeah. Or hang around. Unfortunately, we had a couple of those. I think they're gone now, but yeah, we had a couple of the, basically baseball parents that were out there just, fighting with ROs and stuff like that. It was god awful.
No, you tell them to sit down with their umbrella chair, read their magazine.
Yeah.
And then,
oh no, I mean they're on the stage. I mean they're like on the stage with the timer with the RO type deal. It's like, oh my god, yeah. And then like no one will squad with them. That happens like that sometimes. But I hate it for the kid more than anything else. I'm like,
well, yeah, because they get embarrassed by the parent, and it's like,
yeah, exactly. Listen, if the kid wants to do this, kid wants to do this. My son shot revolver for a very short period of time, and he actually decent at it. He was decent at shooting, and I could teach him real quick. But it just wasn't something that he got into, So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go any further with this.
Yeah, but if you put an open gun in his hand, he'd been like, yeah, money.
Oh, fuck that. Fucking open gun. You get bored fast.
Well, just think about it. People don't realize this. Most of the cost in like reloading an open gun is the powder.
Yes. Yeah, I can imagine. You guys are triple loading a friggin' 9mm case,
Well, yeah. And then I had this conversation with somebody the other day. They said that the bullet was the most expensive part. I'm like, you're spending an extra $1.50 compared to a lead bullet, like for a jacketed hollow point.
Yeah, okay.
It's like your powder is what's going to kill you.
Yeah.
Well, besides the primers are fucking unobtainium.
I was about to say, between powders and primers now, bullets are nothing. I buy bullets all day long. This. Yeah. But no, that's and revolver with 160 grain going minor. I mean, I was 3.3, 3.4. I was at 129 power factor on that thing. Yeah.
You just watch it arc to the target.
Oh, I mean, if I had to take a shot past 30 yards, I may want to put a little up on it, maybe deviate that front sight just a hair, just to launch it out there. But yeah, it had good mass, so it still knocked over a popper that side. It just wasn't going real fast.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Whereas Dave, I'll be out there doing chrono at the range, and Dave would always come by and he's like, let me check my bullets. I'm like, Christ, man, I don't think my chrono goes that high. He's out there cracking off like 1420s, 1450s. I'm like, my God, man. Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of chrono do you have?
I have an old ass one. God, I couldn't it's generally laying around somewhere. No, it's in the garage. God, one of those old ones that you have to put the antennas on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I bought it probably 5 years ago. About $100. And the only reason everybody shoots on my chrono is it's a little stingy. So if you make it on my chrono, you're probably good, at any match you go to. So I plan on bringing it out this weekend. I generally, I think me and Jason checked Sunday because we were rained out and the weather was beautiful Sunday. So Jason and I went out and burned, 240 rounds on practice. Like, I mean, we basically shot a match. I got done that day and stopped at the grocery store to grab some food, grab some stuff to grill, and got out of my car and my ankles and legs were killing me. I was like, Jesus, did I just shoot a match? I'm like, Christ, man. And just running around chasing him. But we got the local this weekend at Pine Tucky, and I'll set up my chrono for everybody who wants to run. I just think it's thing I can do for people. We'll set it up on the bay and let them try it out. Not that I would make fun of anybody who goes sub on a local match. I'll point that out to them.
Well, usually if they're going sub minor, your slide's not going to be operating half the time.
Yeah, you'd be amazed. I see some sneaky shit come out. Especially I think at 40 more than anything else. Limited. I've had locally, I've had some people shoot and they'll put up videos, and I'm like, either your grip is the most amazing grip ever, or and the gun just sounds wrong. It's like, it sounded puffy, type deal. You want to check that ammo, but yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is. This is why I like my minor ammo is like 140 power factor. Steel does not scare me. I don't have to.
God,
steel, but when you see the people shooting that powder puff ammo and they smack a dead center popper, and I'm like really? You're gonna call for calibration, aren't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Asshole.
They always do.
So it's okay. I'll grab my 140 power factor ammo and be like, well, sucks to be you. I think you're down.
What bullet weight you're running?
125s.
Really? Okay. Steph's a 135 person. The MPX really loves the 135, and so I just buy that in bulk. And I've loaded up a couple for the pistols. For that carry optics for that Canic I got. I'll try it out. It seems to run fine. I mean, it seems to like it. I'm always going to go for a little bit heavier bullet.
Yeah, when I got into it, I blame Rob Teague. I watched one of his videos, and he's like 125 grain with like 3.7 grains or 3.8 grains. I'm like, okay, that's my starting load. We'll go from there.
Yeah.
Then when you get a chrono, you're like, it's a little light. Let's
take
it up a little bit.
Well, Steph too, with the MPX, the only downside is I do have to power down a little bit. The MPX eats a little bit just from the gas system. So she runs like a 135 at like a 3.8, 3.9 drop. And and she goes like, 140, right at 138, 140. You put that into a pistol, it get a little hot real quick, 150.
I did have some people say I almost had major ammo in my my Glock at one point just because it was so loud. I don't know what I did. Couple extra grains or something, a little tenths of a grain or something.
Eli did that. He was using one case for measuring his powder drop, and I told him, don't do that. Grab a new case every time because it bells and it won't travel. You'll end up with a problem with, especially on a Dillon, where it won't travel fully, and you won't be getting your powder drop right. You'll be a little bit, you'll be reading low. And he went to some major, and I want to think he went high, like 147. I want to think he said something like that, some crazy. And I was like, dude, you turn back the powder a little bit, man. And
Well,
but
now
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say that's something interesting. We try to on the podcast. If you ever get me on there, when I do talk about reloading a lot, because I don't think there's enough information out there. I've set up enough people's presses and stuff like that, and with Nancy and Stephanie and Johnny and all them, I've got a million different bullet loads in my head. So it's like but I don't think people have enough information out there. I wish that was a little bit easier for people to get a hold of, reloading data,
especially for practical pistol. Like you have the book load, and you're like,
oh Jesus,
you're like, okay, where do I start, in the middle, or it's
it's broke down by like the case and all that stuff. It's always some weird bullet that you don't load anyway. It's not like
there needs somebody to come out with a practical pistol bullet, right? So like all the popular grains of weights, in lead round nose or lead cone nose, or
I don't need to know what a 95 grain 38 does in a 9mm case. I don't know why that'd be information I needed.
I don't know. We could dick around in the PCC with that. That'd be kind of interesting. See how fast you could get one of those bullets to go.
Yeah, you'd get them smoking. I probably wouldn't run through the MPX, probably through the PSA. See where that would go. Yeah, that would be a fun round. But so what about you? You gonna stick with carry optics the entire time, or is there you ever have any curiosity into the low caps or?
Well, when the mitten match was supposed to be a high cap, low cap, when it was supposed to be only low cap, I was going to shoot production. I was going to rip the dots off my guns, and shoot low cap. But then they switched it so you could shoot high cap. I'm like, sweet, I don't have to switch I didn't have to take dots off guns and re-zero. So I was like, okay, cool. But I don't think I'll go low cap unless, I do have a revolver. It's not set up for USPSA. I've got a Dan Wesson 815.
Okay.
It's got a scope on it. It's got the task. I'm gonna have to send you that picture here in a bit.
Yes. Yeah.
This thing's a heavy SOB. It's in 357, so it's not really a gamer revolver.
No.
But this thing is so heavy. The one thing I hate about this gun. The single action trigger is amazing. The double action's long, but it doesn't stack. It's just heavy all the way through, which is kind of nice.
Yep.
But the cylinder release is fucking dog shit because it's in front of the cylinder.
Oh God.
It's you got to pull, you got the cylinder, you got to pull down in front, like the cylinder release is in front of the cylinder.
Yeah,
so pull it down and
Nope.
I do like shooting that revolver. I do. I want to start loading for it, but it was my uncle. I inherited that from an uncle.
Okay.
It has a twin, but that's in 44. But I didn't get that one either. So.
That's all right. You got the good one there. Load up some 38 specials. See what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about 1911? I think if you're going to shoot pistol, 1911 seems to be,
I have one of those. It's trash though.
What is it?
It's oh my God, what is this thing? It's an ATI import.
ATI.
Yeah. This thing is I think this thing was retailed $400 at max when it came out. It's like an old military version. I swapped the mainspring housing to a flat one. I switched out the beaver tail. I can't switch the sights at all.
Oh, what's it got? Like A1 sights? It's got the
yeah, well, the weird part is I think the sight is milled out of the slot. I don't even think you can take the front sight off. I think it's just metal. When they made it, when they machined it, they machined the sight. That's what you get.
Oh, Jesus, man. Yeah. Go by your Rock Island, something like that. Something you got to tune a little bit, but run.
Exactly. Well, shit, Nancy picked a good one. She picked that Dan Wesson.
That gun is great out of the box.
I think for the money that those things got to be on point.
They are. I've got twin TRPs and I've had problems with both of them. Mm-hmm. And the one I run now is Dave built that thing. The only TRP part of that is the slide, the barrel, and the frame. Every other piece of that gun is all Dave work. That's Dave goofing with it. It runs 100% on small primer, which is weird. It won't run big primer. I think it's got a little bit with the mainspring he's got in it. But
a 45 small pistol primers.
Yeah.
That was so weird. First time I was shooting with Tim Herron, he was shooting that Syntec ammo, right?
Yeah.
So I pick up a case of his and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? It's a small pistol primered 45.
Oh, I'm telling you, I run it all the time. It works out great. I can only, with primers being what they are, I buy one primer. I buy freaking small pistol primer.
Yeah.
The brass, I go to that sharpshooters range. I went there. I was like, hey, what do you guys have in 45 small primer? He goes, what do you want? So I went in there with a Lowe's bucket, one of those big orange buckets, fill it up. He's like, all right, charged me $40. I walked out dragging this bag of, this freaking 40 pounds of brass out in the freaking truck. And I'm like, all right, there we go. I can do with this.
That's a hookup I need. That's my biggest issue with components is brass, just because it's you want to go eat after the match, right? But you need to go pick up brass, and you're like,
oh my God, yeah. Johnny's kind of the brass guy. He's always picking up brass.
Well, he's that IDPA guy, though, right?
Oh my God, Nancy gets in trouble if she goes to practice and doesn't bring back brass.
Well,
it's almost funny because we forget to bring something out to the range to pick it up, and she's got we got coffee mugs or bags or something. We're putting brass in. We're here. Don't want Nancy getting in trouble with Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Oh God, now I'm blanking. But Johnny, what was it? Some bitch. Now I lost it. Damn power of brain farts.
That's all right. Johnny's first match is going with the TSO will be this weekend.
Ooh,
finally. He's finally shooting a gun he should be shooting.
That's at 40, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he's shooting a STI in 40.
That's right.
Yeah, but he had a TSO. Nancy, Stephanie have always been TSO and Stephanie Tanfo. Mm-hmm. She has a great Tanfo that me and another guy built that runs great. Call it the Dragon gun because I can't remember whose model it was, but it had dragon on the side of it. Whatever. It's cute. But that gun we had some issues with because it's a long slide. We ended up ordering it wrong and came in this weird 6-inch, so we had to cut the slide and do some other stuff to it. But she's ran that gun religiously in limited, and it's been amazing. But both of them really big into the CZ, Tanfo style of limited guns. And they're a little funky. I mean, yeah, and you can't do the things you can with an STI or 2011, which is, basically like almost like an AR platform where you can change everything on it. You kind of, there's only certain manufacturers for, tac sports and stuff like that. But
yeah, I did have a friend try to go. He went to limited. He tried it with a tac sport orange.
Yeah.
And then he's a lefty, which makes everything worse. When you're a lefty,
yes,
it's already small enough, accessories list. You take it down to a third because now you're a
lefty.
lefty.
Yeah. You can't get anything to swap over. Yeah. Plus I don't think it's threaded on the other side.
Nope.
Yeah. No,
it's not. It's.
No.
But then he's shooting a Glock 22 Gen 5 and 40. He's loving it now. So
yeah, he needs to go revolver. You could do a left-hand revolver deal because you can do a weekend friggin' reload on that and be okay. I've seen guys go real fast with that. The strong hand reload stuff or the weekend reload. He could do a strong hand reload. Yeah, I've seen guys go fast like that. Jerry was big into that. Michael Pogge obviously much faster, but he could hold his own that way.
Speaking of Pogge, you gonna think Pogge's gonna take another championship this year?
Is he signed up? Because I hadn't seen him on the roster. I talked to him about my gun when the frame broke. We both had a discussion about it.
That would make me sad if he wasn't going to go defend his title, though.
Which title? He's got all of them.
Well, yeah, but he won last year. So, shit, there was a bunch.
Him and oh damn. See, now I'm calling blank. Damn, I know the guy he shoots against too all the time.
Isn't it Wolf or is it?
Yeah, that's it, Wolf. Yep. Yeah. Those two shoot against each other quite a bit. But I hadn't seen them in the squatting yet, but who knows? They'll get squatted whenever they want to.
Yeah, you never know. It just seems like, Revolver Super Squad's reserved. Well, no, you should be able to see that though, since you're.
Yeah, it just means you can't. When it's reserved, you just can't click on it.
Well, yeah, I can't when you click on practice score.
Yeah,
you can't click if you're not in the match. If you just click general view squatting, it doesn't show you shit. But I'd hope he's there. I'd hope he's shooting that.
See, here we go. Now we got our phones out. This is becoming more like our podcast. Let me look some shit up while we're on air. This is awesome.
Well, it's usually how it works. I mean,
yeah, I know. We joke about this all the time. We'll be describing something, be like, "This is the greatest audible." We'll be drawing pictures in the sand and be like, "This is a great audible." Podcast here.
Well, exactly.
We don't do YouTube, so yeah.
Not yet.
That's me, isn't it? That's me. Yeah. 204. 206. It's all full. There's the B squad. That's Shaw, Orkbach, Joe Sutton, Thorpe. Super squad. Higby, McGinty, Bakken, Gunther, Alhasso. Yep, there they are. Rich Wolf and Mark Pogge. There they are.
All right.
Squad 207.
Yep, there you go. Pogge. I get my money's on Pogge.
Yeah. There was a lot of guys who kind of held to the end because now looks like Latham's in. I didn't see him before. He's on the single stack super squad. So that's actually where Stephanie will be hanging out because
she's not shooting, is she?
No, God no. She's going down to be first friend. She's just going to hang out with us.
Squad mom.
No. Stephanie will not be a squad mom.
Stephanie, load my magazines.
Yeah, right. No, we had a discussion on the podcast. The one time she forgot to load her magazines and they yelled at me about it. And I'm like, dude, But no, she'll probably just go hang out and watch other shooters. I can't imagine her going down to go, God, I'm going to watch my husband run stages. It's like, I've seen this film before for the last 7 years. There's no reason to watch this.
Mm-hmm. She's going to hang out with Nancy. And Johnny. Well, no, she'll probably hang out with Johnny, and they'll just walk up and down the bays.
Yeah, Johnny's shooting limb 10.
Oh, so, good. Well, that's good. At least he's shooting.
Yeah, he's shooting limb 10 because he doesn't care. He's like, I'll shoot something. If I'm gonna be there, I'll shoot something.
It's just like IDPA, right? 10 rounds.
Oh, I know, right? God, Johnny. Yeah.
He can wear his vest if he wants. Makes him feel
Johnny.
comfortable.
Yeah, he could, I guess. Nancy, I think, has a fancy vest. We'll have to have that. We'll have to get a picture of that for the show.
We got to bedazzle it or something.
Yeah, because she's been going out shooting IDPA, which has been kind of comical on how she's been treated with that, especially when she used to go out there with the PCC, because that just broke the old man's heart to see that rifle come out.
Well, it's illegal. It's illegal in their sport. Go right ahead.
I know, right? How about them with 2011s with dots now?
They can have it.
Really? Okay, so you're non-2011 with dot and USPS.
Here's what I say.
And Dave. Dave wasn't fancy on this either.
Here's what I say. Don't open my carry optics, and don't carry optics my open. So that's saying no single action onlys in carry optics, and don't lower power factor in open.
Okay. All right.
Just leave it how it is. You can add another division. I don't care. They can go have another division. Go let them play in their little corner. But don't fuck with, because carry optics is so successful. 33 and growing % of participation is carry optics. So that's where either the new people are going or people are leaving their divisions to go shoot. They like it for some reason. It's not that they want XYZ. There's only a few certain manufacturers and people wanting it. So just let them keep it how it is. Build them another division if you want.
What if you opened optics up on limb 10?
Put optics on limb 10?
Yeah.
I mean, why not? I mean, get rid of limb 10, put optics. Okay.
It'd still be limb 10. It's just they're open to optics. So it'd be like a limb optic 10 or, whatever you wanted to be.
They could try that. But that's the point of the 2011 is they want all those rounds too. The problem, and then another problem is no one really makes a 2011 grip. Well, that's not true. Chile Custom does makes a limb 10 grip, a 2011 grip that doesn't have that doesn't need a magwell.
Yeah.
That's the problem is most of them need the magwell to hold on the mainspring housing.
Yep. Yeah.
And that was actually pretty cool. I actually got the chance to go visit Chile Custom Gunworks. It was kind of cool. I got to shop tour and whatnot. That was kind of cool.
That's awesome. I don't know if I don't know where I'd want to go in something like that. I'd like to see the SIG compound. I thought that'd be neat to see.
Dave just needs to take you to work.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can go up there to see Dave work.
Well, you can go look at all the precision rifles and then you can look at
oh man, that's just something that doesn't strike any nerve with me as precision rifle shooting. But
then you can realize how much we really don't spend compared to them.
That's true. I've heard that's a money race. That's a ridiculous money race.
Well, funny fact is my neighbor this way on the other side of the house is a PRS shooter. He says, I got 1,500 rounds to this barrel and I had to put a new barrel on this gun. I'm like, the fuck? Like,
yeah.
So just pulling out the lathe in the garage and he's just fucking doing a barrel. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, man. No, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
No, I need to beat up all my stuff till it's tore up and then broken, and then I get mad at it. Go through all those steps.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is interesting to see though. There's a lot of open slots for Classic Nationals still.
There is that. Well, there is on certain days. Yeah, like the seniors or the days I'm shooting. I think because I'm driving down. I'm working, so it works out that I'll have that Monday off because I work 4/10s. So I'll have that Monday off, so it works out for me that I can hang around Sunday. But I'm driving like Friday night. I think I get out of school and head right on up there. Pick up Steph and we take off. And yeah, we're going straight there, and then I'll walk that morning and then shoot the afternoon and then shoot the morning the next day. I think is how it works out. I can't remember.
So no beers between the first day and the second day.
No, and that's a Nancy rule. After Nancy got sick at Nationals, her last Nationals, I think it was, because she wanted margaritas and Mexican food before.
Mexican food.
Yeah, Mexican food and margaritas during Nationals, not a good idea. Yeah, and I did the same thing. I think my first Nationals, I probably indulged a little bit, but not very much. And then the second Nationals, I was much more dedicated to it. And hey, listen, go back to the hotel, get you something to eat, drink water, get your stuff ready, get your gear ready, get some good sleep, get up, go again, And that's when they're doing the 3 days deal. So it's a long slug.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's only 2 days this year. Well, There's only 3 divisions though, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's low cap too. I mean, we can, they're not stacking 32 rounders out there all day long for us.
No, which is nice. It has that classic Nationals feel, kind of like almost like that Paso Park feel. But
yes, yeah, exactly. And I think they needed to do that. Yeah, because when they were including us with limited and other divisions, it got messy. Where it's like, good Lord, we don't have a lot of bullets to lay down here and try to hit a popper laying on my side, shooting uphill, type stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but it is what it is. I mean, take it. You can get mad at it or just try to figure it out. You gotta remember everybody's going through the same suffering, but
Oh yeah, everyone's got to go through the same growing pains.
Yeah. But Tim will be there, so it'll be fun. I'll go talk to him. Probably Steph will hang around him more than anything.
Yeah,
Lord knows. That's
She's-
much more interesting.
Well, Tim, I'm taller than Tim, which is kind of fun because it's like, all right, I could go train with Tim because I'm taller than him.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah, Steph's taller than Tim. But,
But that's not saying much though either. Though
yeah, poor guy.
you just only got to be like 5', 6.5" to be taller than Tim.
Yep. Yeah. But he's keeping himself in shape and he's got all that energy, so he's doing something right.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting near the end of this because it's
I think so, man.
Now, we got one more question. Where can they find you on the interwebs? Because everyone needs to know that.
Okay. And I am not huge on social media. Facebook's probably the best place to hit me up, and obviously TPP Crain. Sunday Morning Training Group does have a Facebook page. We do try to populate that, and if you hit any of that stuff, it will immediately ping one of us, and we're pretty good about answering questions or something like that, or especially if somebody's looking for like another podcast, because I think that was like one of our first questions was like we had Dave on because Dave was hanging around. I was like, hey Dave, you want to be on the show? And he was, and then like we were like, oh my god, a listener asked us a question, and it was what podcast is Dave on? I was like, wow, right in the heart. That got me in the feels. But yeah, you can hit me there. Instagram, I can be reached on there. I think it's TPP Crain on that one too. Only because I have some old gamer tag stuff from video games that comes around every so often. But TPP Crain is my shooting stuff. So, and that actually came about. I'm sorry. With I used to have a regular old shooting page, like everybody has. Like, and then something happened and I got put in, Facebook basically jumped on me about it. And yeah, so I changed it as a joke like 5 years ago to TPP Crain, and that has been there ever since. And then Range Panda with the pewpew Crain and all that stuff. And yeah. So it's always been there. And
Okay. I did have a question that was worth asking. It's from our good friend David. What is your least favorite round to make for Stephanie in which gun?
Least favorite round to make for Stephanie in her gun. Least favorite. The 40 runs pretty good. No, you know what? The 40. I would say when she decides to shoot limited and I have to make 40 for her. For some reason, I don't know why 40 and my press go nuts. And then that's just in my work with it. When it comes to the sensitivity of Stephanie, which is, I mean, princess in the pea here. Like, she can sense a half a grain instantly. Like I'll, maybe I didn't check the drop before I made this batch of ammo. And she'll be like, it's too hot. It's too cold. It's my sights aren't tracking right. So it's any of the MPX rounds. Like if, she gets mad at me because I tore the press down one time because she was we only have so many heads in this house. And she was, I'm going to shoot single stack. So, all right, great. So I was like, well, I didn't prep the MPX to be shot this year anyway. So I'll tear the head down and make a 45 head out of it. So I did that and got the 45 ready. And then it was, I want to go back to the MPX. And I was like, well, I got to put a bullet together. And that just broke her heart. She was like, why don't you write this shit down? I'm like, I got it. It's right up here. I got it. And then of course it's me tinkering with the bullet, getting the length right, and I may tinker with it and be like, a little bit longer. Let's see if it, see how it runs and stuff like that. And then she gets mad because she's like, oh, it's garbage. That's a shit round, and I end up with these boxes. If I could show you around this room, in the age of a primer shortage, Stephanie probably has 2,000, 2,500 made rounds that she doesn't like that are in boxes that I just have labeled with what they are. And, I just run them through pistols. So
Yard sale at the next match, right? Yeah.
I know, right? They all federal primer, good powder. They've all been, case gauged. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephanie just doesn't like them. So, yeah.
Well, that's half the battle, right?
She has made me a much better reloader
Yeah.
through her sensitivity. So I can thank her for that, I guess.
Well, that's good. Well, Travis, thank you for coming on. It's actually
it has been an honor. Thank you very much for this.
It's been a blast. We haven't really talked a bunch of low cap lately on the show. Usually it's a bunch of high cap guys talking about crap. So it's been actually interesting to talk about revolvers and the common people of low cap.
The common people. That's me. Old sexy legs, sexy legs, and Dan, which I wish we had a picture of all three of us next to each other, because it's a really interesting group of people. And that's what makes it fun. And that's why I enjoy shooting it, because, those guys make it totally worth it. It's fun to compete against them. But we're all different personalities. It's hilarious. Yeah. So in revolver world, I want to thank you for this, because it made me think that damn picture. I was like, I should at least take the Ruger out. I've got a new, I don't remember how much 160 I've ran through it. And I've got a bunch sitting when I got mad at my 929s. I threw my range bag, which was full of ammo for a match, threw it on the ground in front of my safe. And I'm like, I got enough in there. I could go out and run a couple drills. And let's see how much the Ruger can do, and I'm just going to get mad at it again. But I thank you for that. So.
There you go. You can go tinker with that and go cuss at it.
Yeah, I'm going to show you pictures of the fucking shit group it makes.
Oh, God. But yeah, guys, if you're listening to this, go check out Sunday Morning Training Group. It is a hoot. It's a laugh. If you really want just a breakup from, regular shooting content like mine, you can catch them whenever they post shit. So I honestly like, Travis and Nancy and Stephanie and Johnny's content. So go check it out. It's something different. You might like it. Thank me later. But I want to tell everyone, until next time, get out and do things. And I'll see you on the next one.